Hello again, and while summer seems to be on hold at the moment, I hope you can't hear the rain beating at my window, I thought I'd make another video. It's about Sibelius's piece Sydämeni laulu, which in English means Song of My Heart. And as you might know, as a choir we've been exploring Nordic repertoire for quite a while now. So if you don't know anything about the piece, then you will love this video. So the piece was actually premiered in its male choir version in 1898, when it was described as being simple, original and atmospheric. Rather nice review to receive, I think. And like most pieces of a slightly depressive nature, it became a firm favourite in Finland, leading to it being arranged for mixed choir in 1904. So I think it's worth taking a bit of time to find out why these words were applied to it at its premiere. And I'd like to begin with the Finnish text just alone. Really listen to how wonderful this sounds and maybe even slightly hypnotic.
Tuonen lehto, öinen lehto. Siel on hieno hietakehto, sinnepä lapseni saatan. Siel on lapsen lysti olla, tuonen Herran vainiolla kaitsia Tuonelan karjaa.
Now, in the penultimate verse, notice this beautiful alliteration that's about to happen, almost as if the poetry is preparing itself for this majestic ending with the word kerrajalintu, which is the nightjar.
Onpa kullan lysti olla, kultakehdos kellahdella, kuullella kehräjälintuu.
The nightjar is in fact an omen of death in Finnish mythology. So this is a significant moment in the poem because it most clearly exposes this duality that's constantly being mixed together by these words. And on the one hand, we have this tranquil dreaming, and on the other, we have this rather sad premature death that's happening.
You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it.
The poem's author is this chap here, Aleksis Kivi, whose statue stands in front of the Finnish National Theatre here in Helsinki. Other Kivi sites include the Memorial Cottage near Lake Tuusula and pub Aleksis K in the district of Sörnäinen. I'll let an actual Finn, composer Jaakko Mäntyjärvi, tell you more about him.
Aleksis Kivi is regarded as one of Finland's national authors. He was a poet, a playwright, and the author of the first novel ever written in Finnish. It may seem surprising that this happened as recently as in the 19th century, but written Finnish didn't even exist before the Reformation, and it wasn't until the rise of nationalism in the 19th century that the Finnish language was recognized as capable of literary merit. Kivi's landmark novel, Seitsemän veljestä, Seven Brothers, is the story of orphaned brothers who grow up to be responsible members of their community. The novel incorporates several poems, of which Sydämeni laulu is one. It is sung by a mother who is a bit of a free spirit and feels confined and depressed by her life as a farmer's wife. And this leads her to wonder whether her child wouldn't be better off dead than having to grow up to face the evils of the world. And it is because of this that the domain of the dead, Tuonela, is presented in this lullaby in a very comforting image.
So as Jaakko mentioned there, Tuonela is a mystical but also a bit of a five-star luxury location, and it's usually referred to as being on an island, so hence you need a nightjar to carry the souls of the dead over to it. And what swims around this island is a black swan that Sibelius wrote a piece about. It's called The Swan of Tuonela. And it was written actually a few years before Sydämeni laulu, and he still was revising the piece up until 1900. So It's very interesting to look at the similarities between these pieces, not only in this wonderfully winding cor anglais solo you hear many times in The Swan, which does actually echo some of the melodies in Sur Many Laulu, but also this very interesting way that Sibelius wants to swirl around in the same tonality for a long time, as if to really get to the bottom or the essence of the atmosphere of the location. What this achieves is pretty close to what we now call becoming one with nature. This phrase today perhaps has a more therapeutic meaning, especially for lost urban souls, but over history I think it's had a more complex relationship with the human psyche. And what it does is to promote a sense of landscape as a dynamic, free-thinking character, rather than just a nice, static thing as seen on a postcard. And so I've come out to Ainola here, the site of Sibelius's home and his final resting place, which is about 40 minutes north of Helsinki by train. And although the wind is forever rustling the birches and the birds are quite tuneful, Sibelius chose this site for his silence. And even inside the house, the water pipes are diverted from his study, and his wife Aino was under strict instruction to keep the children from making a single noise when Sibelius is working. Today there also seems to be someone raking in the forests, so how wonderfully apposite, but I'll just show you a few shots of the site. It was here, beside Sibelius's grave, that Suda Many Laulu was sung soon after the tombstone was laid in the autumn of 1957. And for me, being here surrounded by all this forest certainly influences my own interpretation of the song. It's like these rests that Sibelius requests at various points are each their own forest clearing and a tantalizing glimpse of an ethereal silence. In this sense, the song's ending is rather like this special and retreating echo, which is being enveloped back into the distant and silent voice of Mother Nature. So just before we go to the full performance, which comes from a concert we gave earlier this year, just a reminder, if you'd like to ask a question or leave a comment, please do. I will be sitting by my computer 24/7 over the next couple of days, ready to answer your questions. So please, let's have lots of them. And also, what would be amazing is if you were willing to support our journey back into live music making, we'd be so grateful. All you need to do is head to the website where you can find out more. There's a link below. Thank you so much for watching.